Hello, in this guide we want to introduce to you the new way to play this once very popular spell once again. The Dark Pact is a spell that sacrifices 10% of your current life to deal chaos damage in Nova around you. The sacrificed life is added to your damage, so you are naturally encouraged to stack as much maximum life as possible and recover it quickly enough to always spend the full amount. The Wrathpith Globe is a unique shield that shares the idea of sacrificing life, but this time it increases your spell damage and critical strike chance based on your maximum life. With those two interactions, you can fully focus on stacking maximum life to get a good balance of offense and defense. With the dissolution of the Flesh Jewel, you will reserve life instead of losing it, which resets after 2 seconds of not taking any damage. That way, you can safely sacrifice all your life as only the reservation amount matters to you. On top of that, this jewel also grants up to 30% more life. All means of life recovery are used to fuel up your damage instead. With the Eternal Youth, you will recharge life instead of Energy Shield, providing you 33% of your maximum life per second, which can be improved further via recharge rate. You can also include Life Leech and Life Regeneration for even more recovery. You will get tons of damage and cap the critical strike chance just by stacking maximum life. Both cast speed and critical strike multiplier are great ways to improve your damage, but you have to make sure to sustain your life at maximum level. You will have a massive amount of maximum life and a quite high chance to evade attacks, but your only recovery is avoiding taking damage for 2 seconds, which can be problematic around ground damage over time effects. The clear speed is quite good thanks to the massive area of effect, and the explosions from the Occultist Profane Bloom notable. The damage against bosses is very high, but it requires manually avoiding taking damage to not interrupt recharge. The damage output is very good even on a lower budget, but the dissolution of the flesh can be uncomfortable to play without high amounts of life. It is not a starter build. There are a few important interactions between your maximum life and certain effects from unique items. The most important is the Wrathpith Globe, which scales your damage based on your maximum life. The Apostate, Untouched Soul, Adorned, and Dissolution of the Flesh are great ways to scale your maximum life. Without them, it will be hard to reach sufficient damage and critical strike chance. The Wrathpith Globe is a very important factor for this build. It greatly improves your spell damage and critical strike chance based on your maximum life. You should corrupt it to reduce the damage you take from critical strikes. You don't rely on gem levels like most spellcasters, so the Divinarius Dagger is the best weapon you can wield. It grants you tons of spell damage and critical strike multiplier, improves your area of effect, and recovers your life during mapping. The Apostate is an important armor that converts the energy shield from your other armor items into maximum life. It doesn't affect jewelry or jewels socketed in the passive tree. If you leave most of your red sockets empty, this amulet grants you tons of base maximum life. You can also use Omen of Blanching to safely get white sockets if you desperately need elemental resistances. The Dissolution of the Flesh greatly improves your maximum life and changes its interactions with incoming damage. You will now reserve life instead of losing it and unreserve it all at once after 2 seconds of not taking damage. With this jewel, you can double the value of maximum life modifiers on your magic corrupted jewels. Usually, even bad rolls will be better than perfect rare jewels. Use the Militant Faith Jewel to get bonus damage from your power charges and greatly reduce the duration of Ignite on you. Socket it near the Sentinel, notable for its interaction with Unnatural Instinct. By granting you effects of the unallocated nodes in its radius, this jewel greatly improves your area of effect and adds tons of devotion when socketed near the Militant Faith. You can use modifiers that require Zealotry Aura to gain a lot of damage from this jewel. You can also include Vitality or Precision to get very useful bonuses, such as Flask charges on crit or Life Leech. The Mage Blood is the best defensive belt you can get. It It allows you to get nearly double the effect of any magic flask with 100% uptime. It is not necessary, but undoubtedly makes it easier to upgrade your other pieces, which applies to every other build in the game. Your damage is based on the sacrificed life, so a sufficient recharge rate is necessary to sacrifice as much as possible. You will also want tons of maximum life and energy shield, which gets converted into even more life via apostate. Other than that, look for the usual elemental and chaos, resistance, ailment avoidances, and critical strike multiplier. On your helmet you should aim for tons of maximum energy shield, life, and energy shield recharge rate. Additionally, you can look for resistances or attributes. Use the Eater's influence to reduce ignite duration on you. Similarly to your helmet, look for energy shield, improved recharge rate, and maximum life. Exclusively to boots, try to get movement speed, bleed avoidance, and action speed. The gloves are another defensive piece. Try to get energy shield and its recharge rate, lots of maximum life, and optionally resistances and attributes. Use the Eldritch influence to apply Unnerve on your enemies and get life leech from chaos damage. Here you can heavily focus on maximum life and resistances. It can also greatly improve your flask sustain. As always, try to use the Stygian Vise base. The Hunter's influence allows you to boost your maximum life even further. On the extra Abyss jewel, you should look for maximum life, lacking resistances or attributes, critical strike multiplier, and immunity to corrupted blood. On your rings, you should seek maximum life, critical strike multiplier, minimum frenzy charges, or cover lacking resistances and attributes. One of your rings should also automatically apply Despair Curse on your enemies. If you have enough recharge rate, you should also include cast speed here. On your jewels, you should look for bonuses to maximum life, critical strike multiplier, energy shield recharge rate, and cover lacking resistances and attributes. If you use the Adorned jewel, try to prioritize the maximum life and critical strike multiplier modifiers. On the large cluster jewel, you should look for 3 notables that would boost your chaos damage. Try to get a combination that lets you pick up only 2 useful notables and save points, as the main goal is to socket more magic jewels. The Bottled Faith is a great offensive flask for every build that creates a large consecrated ground effect upon use, and you will deal significantly more damage against enemies standing on it. For the regular version, use flasks that boost your movement and cast speed, improve your evasion rating, and reduce the effect of curses. If you use Mage Blood, you can use a mix of elemental and jade flasks that also make you immune against poison and curses. The Dark Pact sacrifices 10% of your life to deal chaos damage in the area around you. The additional damage is based on your current life. Without it, the base damage of this spell is very low. The Intensify is a very good support gem for mapping that grants both damage and additional area of effect depending on the situation. Additional gem levels for Dark Pact are useful to have, but not as impactful as it can be for other spells. The Zealotry aura improves your spell damage and critical strike chance. You can also use the Grace aura for extra evasion rating, as your damage will be very high anyway. With the Blood Magic Keystone, your auras reserve life instead of mana. Thanks to the Eternal Blessing, you can use 1 aura completely for free. The Assassin's Mark grants you a lot of critical strike chance and damage against marked enemies. It also generates power charges for you. The Frostblink is an instant teleport skill that leaves chilling ground in both locations. You can use it to dodge incoming attacks while casting. Using it removes 1 stack of the Intensify buff. You can use the Withering Step to instantly apply a few stacks of Withering debuff if you find the Occultist's Withering presence too slow. Remember that each non-empty socket lowers your maximum life. Killing all bandits for 2 additional passive points is always the best choice to make. At first, you should use the Soul of the Brine King as a reliable way to avoid being frozen. If you can get it from other sources, switch to the Soul of Arakali to reduce damage from overtime effects. Likewise, start with the Soul of Ralakesh to get protection against bleeding. After getting your immunities, you can use Soul of Abereth to deal with Ignite and Burning Ground, or Soul of Garakan to nullify the effect of shock. The sacrificial playstyle is not possible during the campaign. It is recommended to level up using the Dark Pact with skeletons or as a pure summoner, especially if you can obtain the Mirror Arrow of Bombarding and its prismatic counterpart. For more leveling tips, visit the written guide on the website. Your maximum life improves your spell damage and critical strike chance, so it is the main focus of your passive tree. You will also want to pick up additional power charges and improve the recharge rate of your energy shield. The Eternal Youth and Blood Magic are essential keystones that allow you to freely spam your skills. You can pick up the Pain Attunement Keystone and nearby crit notables to get more damage when you drop below the low life threshold, but at that point you lose at least half of your base damage from sacrifice, so you should try to avoid doing that in the first place. You can pick up the Anointed Flesh to reduce the effect and duration of elemental ailments on you. The mastery also grants you the immunity to corrupted blood. It pairs up with the Militant Faith very well, allowing you to reach a 100% reduced duration of ailments on you, without additional bonuses on other items. It won't protect you from ground effects as they don't have any duration. Thank you for watching our guide. If you liked the video, please consider subscribing to the channel or comment if you want to see a specific build. Have a good day and see you in the next video.